my name is Pauline Joe. I am a therapist here at Larty Wellness Group, and today I was actually inspired by my colleague Yvonne to talk about the benefits of nature and our mental health. Um, I actually wanted to start off um, with what your guys' thoughts are on going out in nature and taking care of our mental health.
So this is Yvonne. Good morning, Pauline Joe. And I'm glad you brought that subject up because I love being in nature. It energizes me. It makes me feel alive. It distresses me. Um, One of the other things I found that it does, it stimulates my creativity. It's one of the things it does because I'm very visual. And so it stimulates my creativity. I get ideas about things. I feel like I can, do more things. It just, my energy just surges when I'm out in nature, in the fresh air. And I have, for example, one of my things I try to walk very early in the morning, like when it just wants to crack, gets daylight. And I'll go out early in the morning. I take my time and I look at the trees. I actually listen to the birds chirping. I can hear things very clearly. And I just, as I'm walking, I'm just, just enjoying everything around me. And it's like taking that moment to enjoy nature. A lot of things we take for granted, we don't pay attention to. We're going back and forth doing our everyday, going through our everyday lives, driving and so forth. So you don't get an opportunity to really do that much when you're in a car or you have to drive a lot. So I take the opportunity to just look at the types of trees and look at the animals and creatures. And there is wildlife around me, deers and all kinds of, just other little things, squirrels and stuff. Most people have those, but you see deer on your walks and rabbits, and sometimes you might see a little groundhog here and there, different, just different animals. So nature is really, I think, very energizing for me. So I'm thankful to have it. I prefer outside walking activities and exercising versus a gym. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you, Yvonne. So I'm hearing that a benefit to you being out in nature is it re-energizes you and it gives you an opportunity to have a new perspective and do something different, kind of as compared to kind of that mundane, wake up, go to work, go to your internship, drive here, drive there, and then go home.
Absolutely. It makes a world of difference before I go to work, I start my day. I get that walk in before I start. It makes a world of difference for my entire day. So I'm very thankful to be living in an area where I feel very comfortable and everything is open and I can enjoy the outside.
Wow, that really is sounds like something really awesome to be grateful for. And I may have to copy you there because I would love to have your positive energy that you radiate, even though I never got to meet you in person yet. But welcome, Xiao and Courtney. I see that you guys both signed on. We are talking about the benefits of nature and mental health. I'm not sure if you guys have ever had any experiences like, going out in nature, whether it be, hiking, rock climbing, going to the beach and or whatnot. But I'm wondering what your guys' thoughts are on taking advantage of, Mother Nature and being outside and what it may do for our mental health.
Good morning, everybody. I'm actually want to piggyback off of what Miss Yvonne said in terms of it, of being one with nature, for me, it honestly gives me a sense of relief. I feel more relaxed, more calm. Um, I'm able to get, of course, some fresh air, which makes a huge difference. Um, I was also going to say, I just enjoy um, viewing the scenery as well, if that makes sense. Just seeing the different type of wildlife. Or for example, I went to the beach like a few weeks ago, took my children, and I just love hearing like the sounds of the water, hearing the waves crashing. I like the feel of the sand. So it's definitely something that is able to make me aware of all of my senses. So I like that.
Courtney, that's really beautiful. Kind of also piggyback off of what Yvonne said. Um, we are so kind of stuck in what we have to do, which is understandable. We need to do what we need to do, but we often forget that there are so many things that are free to us, and there are also things that we should not take for granted. The ability to, as you mentioned, like feel the sand, to be able to hear the sound of the ocean, to be able to see our children enjoy nature as well, and kind of get out of this virtual space. So that's really beautiful to hear.
Hello everyone, good morning. This is Xiao speaking. And like for me, I have a new habit actually like since 2 weeks ago, like 1 or 2 weeks ago, yeah. Like I start to take a walk at 7 or 8 p.m. like because just the sunset is almost down, so it's not that hot. So I go with my friend. I think I have the best friend in the world, like who are willing to actually pull me out of my room and actually go into nature and take a walk. And the reason we do that, like at first, is because like I want to lose my weight, but I'm such a foodie. Like I don't want to change a lot about what I eat. Like I love my food, so she just said, okay, like we can do it healthier and also like. Not say easier, but like you do not need to change your diet completely. Like, and you can keep majority of them. And we're just going to take the walk, and we are going to like it's a bit longer than usual, and also like but she just tell me because she has used this way to successfully lose her weight. And then we start to do that, and it's so fun. Like we can talk because we're both counselors. She's in the same program with me. We just discuss something about professional too, like in the walk, and also we may discuss like the TV shows and things, just make it fun. And also actually after doing that, like I don't know how much weight I lost. It doesn't matter anymore. It's a minor purpose now. I just really looking forward to take that walk like every day. I just feel like my mood, my energy goes much higher after I'm able to take a walk every day. I feel like I have more power, and also like I'm looking forward to take that walk. And I can feel that like I just feel like the life is more deserved and more hopeful, like when I'm able to connect with the nature and able to relax, and also like feel I'm actually living a very healthy life. So actually generally I can see like my well-being actually goes up. So like I do feel like I hope it can still help me to lose the weight a little bit, but just like it's not that important anymore. I will keep it even though it may not really help me to lose the weight. Yeah.
I like how you were able to see the silver lining in things. So at first your goal was you just wanted to lose some weight, feel healthier, and then once you started getting into this routine of walking all the time, or sorry, every morning before work, it ended up helping you have energy rather than having energy, say from like coffee or whatnot. Um, and so that actually leads me to my next question. I'm wondering how you guys think we can encourage our clients to also take advantage of nature, which we've established is not only wonderful, but it's also a free, accessible resource.
Pauline Joe, I think one of the ways to encourage our clients to take advantage of that is to inform them of the ways that being outside helps your mental state. For example, I have one client who has, been impacted with depression, and I would always share with her, being outside in the sunlight, in the sun, and how that, makes better for your mental state. Just getting outside and just getting some activities, whether it be taking short little walks or just going outside a few times a day versus staying inside where there isn't as much natural light. So I just try to share that with her regularly, just as a reminder, asking, hey, have you been outdoors this week? Have you had an opportunity to do any of the activities we've talked about? And she may say, yeah, a little bit here and there. And I said, well, if each week, if this is possible, if you could just get out a little bit more and just kind of monitor, see how you feel after you've gone out, got some fresh air, take some deep breaths, and just, take a little walk if it's just down the street and back. Because, it's known that, having activities, it builds up your endorphins, those feel good endorphins. And so that will help you to even feel better. So I just try to tell them the benefits of being outside and enjoying the fresh air. And everyone is in different areas, but however she can. So a few times a week or throughout the day, 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. And it will just encourage her to let her know that it will make a difference.
I like how you would almost do check-ins with your clients, especially say those maybe who are impacted by depression. You would, see, what they did, and remind them that, it really makes a difference. And I agree with you. I think last week I was, busy trying to do, all of these things for work. And so I just found myself like waking up, eating my meals, going to the computer, and then going to sleep and doing it for like days straight. And I think by like Thursday, Friday, I started overthinking. I started having like these very like negative thoughts, which I think negative thoughts are a part of, life, but having them more than you usually would is almost an indicator that, something is off. And so it's interesting that you say, you encourage your clients and you tell them that'll make a difference. And this all last week I was like, oh, I'll just go to the mailbox, or I'll take like a quick phone call. I'll like take in a couple of deep breaths of fresh air, and then I'll go back inside and I'll feel fine. But again, with what happened Thursday, Friday, where I was feeling like really, really negative and I'm having like irrational thoughts, it's just really bad. I noticed that, I didn't have those thoughts at all when I had done my 2 hikes. And then right when I came home, it was almost like a stimulus or something, but like right when I came home, maybe like an hour later, but I started thinking of those irrational negative thoughts. So there's something definitely to be said about our environments, and just feeling, stimulated by, the sun, a little bit of the heat, being able to smell the literal flowers, the grass, or whatnot. Xiao or Courtney, I'm wondering if either of you have any suggestions of how we can encourage our clients to take advantage of nature?
Yeah, like for example, like I will usually involve this into the action plan. So it's like the homework or like between session work, especially like just like what Yvonne said about like letting the clients with depression out, because a lot of times they feel like lost motivations or it's having difficulty of initiating the work and just don't want to do anything. And like, yeah, I just feel like instead of like ask them to finish any tasks like specifically in their life, maybe like go out for a walk like for 5, 10, 15 minutes, like just like a building up scale can actually help them to like connect with the outside world a little bit more. And like it's not a task like you need to accomplish something, but it's more like you are able to like actively like you are actually like they want to go or they just go out, and there's not I think it's less like mental power required to do something, but it's more able to like I think it's a very good activity to help them to, just as Yvonne said, like be able to have a little more energy, to be able to like feel they're actually doing something in the like in their week, like in their days, and they're able to identify and actually connect with nature is definitely better for their like mental health. So I feel like I usually use this like no like not only with my depression clients, of course, like also with clients who have anxiety and especially like social anxiety and things. So they're able to connect with nature first before they actually go into the public. Yeah, so but I definitely agree with Yvonne, like connecting with the nature is always good for the general like well-being. So it's a great activity to actually to help our clients to recognize the self-care, to be able to like I usually like to do the wheel of life. So like which divide the life into like 8 domains, like which one of domain will be like physical and health and things. So and like general wellness and things. So I think this is a good activity like to encourage my clients to do when they're actually feeling that they rate low for that domain, like not having so much like well-being and satisfaction. So I will ask them like probably to increase their exercising and also like yes.
See how I appreciate your idea of reframing it for our clients. So it's not necessarily that we're saying, see how you have to do this, otherwise, your mental health, blah, 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 or you have to do this, otherwise, you can't come to therapy, blah, blah, blah. But more so that reframing offers our clients an opportunity within themselves to, again, take care of themselves and do something that's free. Now, I know we're in a different time and we're in a different area, but in one organization that I worked for that focused on homelessness in DC, I recall we were able to connect with, I think it's called DC Bike Share. You guys can chime in and let me know if that's what it's called. It's kind of like the red bikes you see all over the city. But anyways, we were able to partner with them and get a discount for membership for all of our clients. And a lot of them really loved it. Not only, would it help them, be able to get to work, but it also helped them just enjoy, riding their bike around the city. And we're able to get them helmets and such. And so that kind of inspires me. Maybe that might be on my to-do list one day, to look into some resources or some memberships that we can, either help get our clients into or help them get a discount. But definitely reframing it for them and informing them that this is empowering to them more so, rather than it's like, a task that they need to do to, participate in therapy. Sounds really helpful. Courtney, I'm wondering, for you, do you have any other ideas that you can think of?
Yeah, so actually one of my clients, she one of her businesses rather, she provides free Zumba services at this particular time. And she actually started doing it, of course, last year during the pandemic where things were shut down. So she was doing it virtually. And then recently she just started doing it at her neighborhood park. So of course, besides just having her focus on her own physical health, she also, just took it to a whole nother extent, and she wants to focus on other people's physical health, their mental health, just getting, again, like that sense of release and enjoying their environment and their surroundings. I was going to suggest, and I'm sorry, and another client, she actually shared with me that she enjoys going hiking. So I've also suggested that to some other clients who have been like interested in it, and the information that was shared with me, I just shared it along with them. Me personally, I think another activity that would be good for mental health reasons. Let me see. Well, I personally enjoy fishing. Fishing is another thing that I enjoy doing. I grew up doing it with my dad. So one, it's a way for me to stay connected with him, although he's no longer here. But it's also another way for me, again, to just have that one-on-one time with nature, for me to, again, stay connected with my senses. And just some form of enjoyment. I had a client the other day, my adolescent client, she was having a bit of a breakdown during our session. So I didn't have a mindfulness activity per se in front of me, but I was able to use an example of something that she shared with me. She said when she was younger, she used to enjoy frog catching as a kid. So I had her just, in terms of her, along with focusing on her breath, I had her just to think about those times when she used to go frog catching, the enjoyment of it. What was the feel when she caught the frogs? What was the feel of the water? What was the temperature of the water? What did the frogs look like? What were some of the sounds that you would hear in your surroundings? Would you hear the trees blowing, the water going down the stream? And just doing that for about 5 to 10 minutes with her, she was able to collect herself, and we were able to move along throughout the session because of that.
I did not know, Courtney, that you are a fisher, and I'll probably ask you either sometime in this session or, off or outside the group. But that absolutely sounds like a wonderful hobby that you've continued. In your example, I believe the term is called guided imagery. And specifically in this example, you had your client, pull from a happy memory or a happy childhood memory, it sounds like, and to think in that instance, what happened, how did you feel, and how can you take that image and how can you almost place it in the forefront of your mind as if those feelings are still happening.
Yeah, just to piggyback off your first comment, yes, I haven't been in years, so I know if I go, and I want to go before the summers, I want to take my children, so I know I'm gonna be a little rusty, but in regards to the client, it definitely, and thank you for letting me know what the terminology was, because it definitely slipped my mind. But in terms of the client, again, it made her experience, of course, more calm, more comfortable. She was able to gather herself. And like I said, we were able to push forward throughout the session, and it really made a difference. And I was just glad that was something I was quick on my feet with, because I haven't experienced that yet in a session where like a client will like break down the way that she did. So I was glad that I was able to assist her, at the best way that I could, and in such a fast way.
you definitely had to think quickly. And that example as well is a coping mechanism that we can say we've taught our clients. Um, so even if, say, they don't have time to, like, go through all of the memories, they're feeling anxious, they're having social anxiety, they're in public, or they're getting stressed out when they're driving, or things are tough at home. Sometimes kind of just pulling up that image in their head can help. It's almost like when we think of our favorite place, whether that be traveling, our favorite hike, or whatnot. It's kind of the similar result, and so it sounds like your client can continue to do that. I'm actually wondering, did your client try that coping mechanism outside of the session? And if so, did they say if it benefited them at all?
No, this was actually her first time doing it. Unfortunately, it happened within the session. Normally, when she has episodes like these, she says she'll just typically just either cry herself to sleep, or she just goes and lies down until she gathers herself. And I actually commended her once she did finally get situated throughout the session, because one of her goals is to be to manage her emotions, but she wants to share her vulnerability, if that makes sense. So she was, just by her opening up and having that moment in the session, she said at first, she said she felt kind of embarrassed because it's something that she does not like for people to see. But she was glad that she was able to experience it with me, and she was glad that I was there to help her.
Wow, that must have been, or that must have felt really satisfying to be able to help your client learn that. I'm wondering, for Xiao or Yvonne, have either of you tried either guided imagery or any of that sort with your clients? And if so, do you have any success stories?
Yeah, I think like the guided imagery have a lot of can be applied into various situations. So if one related to nature is a call about like the safe house. I do like the grounding techniques with my clients. So I ask them to build like a safe house. So it's any places they have been there, they feel like safe in the past, or it's like just a place generally. For example, the beach. One of my clients loved the beach really, really much. So I just let her have an image in her mind and like about the beach, and she can put as much details as she can, and she can put like as much say like how to make it safer, how to make it more calm, how to make it more hopeful for the place. So I just guided her to build that place, and then like afterwards I just encourage her to, for example, like she can actually go to that place when she's feeling really depressed, anxiety, and also like a lot of like very negative intense emotions actually appear up. So this is one of the grounding skill I would do with her when she is actually like in really intense emotions and things. And for the other part, like for example, like for my clients who are actually having social anxiety or other things, I will ask them to guide it in like before role play with them, because some of them can be done in role play, but a lot of them are actually it's not that like it's not interactive. So I will just do the guided imagery with them to help them like to be actually at a place to estimate the anxiety level, and I will actually compare with them like, okay, so if you imagine like you're actually going that place, or you actually be in that place after like in the next session when he or she is actually finished the homework. I will ask them to compare, and also like to compare the level of anxiety like before and after using the coping skills, and before and after actually like before like when they do the imagery and when they go to real places, so they can still see like there's a gap between there, like what they imagine may be different from like what they are actually feeling and experience. So I think like guided imagery is a very good technique that can be used like in various ways, but it's really cool, and a lot of my clients like it because like a lot of them are actually very imagery, like they're creative, and it's good for them, yeah, to actually think about this.
I appreciate that reminder, that teaching our clients to ground themselves makes a huge difference. It's kind of when we looked at, say, like strength-based theory, that that's something that all of our clients have within. They all have the power to, do guided imagery, or they all have the power to, ground themselves. And so I really appreciate that. I'm wondering, Yvonne, for yourself, have you ever tried guided imagery or anything of the like?
Well, for me, for my clients, what I would do is I would ask them like that miracle question. And I would say, form it this way and say, how would your life look if you went back to either how things were before you became depressed, or tell me what that looks like for you if your life was happier, or what brought you joy, something like that. I would ask them, what brings you joy? And get them to just pause for a moment and think about that and share that with me. What does that look like for you? And so one of my clients said, to be able to enjoy the relationships I had with my friends, to be able to go out again with them, enjoy the activities that I used to do, that I used to enjoy. Also, it helped her to focus on her ultimate goal of going back to her home, because she was staying with her son before he became ill with COVID at some point, and she wasn't able to go back there, and then she started staying with her daughter. So there's another change in her life, but she says, I want to feel better, I want to laugh more, I want to go back home to my life that I had previously. So when I got her to visualize and think about what that looks like, she was able to allow herself to think about that, because prior to that, she was not able to even, articulate what she wanted to happen. She just kept saying, I want to feel better. So, having that guided imagery about what her life would look like and what would bring her joy got her to even think about movies that make her laugh. What kind of things make her laugh? And so she was able to share with me a couple of movies that she likes. And so I recommended that she, see if her daughter could get those movies for her on DVD or pull them up on cable or something. I said, and that just put a smile on her face. She just chuckled because she began to just talk about how different parts of the movie were funny to her. And she said she hadn't laughed in a while. So it just helped her to just kind of focus on some goals for herself and getting back to the life that she had before. And I felt good too, that she was starting to actually allow herself to say what she wanted and what her life would look like moving forward. And just to be, and just to feel good, and just kind of it's almost like believing that that's possible again. So I was happy that she was able to articulate that to me.
Wow. I'm sure that your encouragement of her remembering what life was before mental health, what was really powerful. I know that whether it's in ourselves or whether it's in our clients, that definitely when we are, say, bogged down by mental health or we've experienced trauma, it's really hard to be able to express or even remember the, say, happier times, because we've kind of, put that in the back of our heads. And what's most urgent, what's most pressing is whatever difficult situation happened, or the culmination of it, or the trauma that happened.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That being said, my last question for our group today is, has anyone seen any barriers for our clients to be able to go outside or really take advantage of nature, with the fact that COVID still exists and such?
I haven't, I don't think, or at least I don't recall any of my clients actually saying that they've experienced any type of barriers in regard to going outside or anything like that. Yeah, I haven't experienced that yet. But I'll say this, although they haven't experienced any barriers, they are still mindful of the amount of people that they surround themselves around. They're mindful of their other safety precautions and other people's safety as well.
Thank you, Courtney. For Yvonne or Xiao, have you guys been told by any of your clients that going outside, that there are rather barriers to going outside because of the virus?
Sorry.
Okay. Is that Sia? Oh, I haven't encountered any clients telling me that they had barriers to going outside. Like Courtney said, they're just mindful of how they engage, and I think it's more too of how comfortable people are, and where they go, what they do, who they're around. I just think people are a little more cautious, but they are going out, they are traveling to some degree. Some are more comfortable traveling abroad than others. I just think it's mostly what people are comfortable with, but no one has actually said there were any barriers to going outside. And I think if some have any underlying conditions or things like that, they would probably go out, but they would wear a mask. So I think that's one of the things a lot of people are still doing, even if they are fully vaccinated. Wearing the mask is something they feel more comfortable doing when they go out, including myself going out. Although I'm fully vaccinated, I still wear a mask when I go out in public.
Thanks, Yvonne. So it kind of sounds like the general consensus of the group is that there are no barriers, but more so just a matter of being mindful, giving a healthy distance, as well as wearing your mask if, say, you get too close. I know that another benefit of just being out in nature and thinking of kind of the whole virus still kind of taking us on this roller coaster ride is that nature activities are actually fairly low risk. And so even maybe encouraging our clients, if they want to have a meal outside, that may benefit them, or taking that phone call, outside, or just taking a moment to relax and shift their thoughts from whatever they're thinking about while being inside to being outside and being like, oh, look at the pretty leaves, or the bunny hopping around, or that person who's walking their dog. Xiao, do you have any additional thoughts that you wanted to add?
Yeah, actually for me, like I experienced more about like people have post-pandemic like anxiety to go out. It's not about really about pandemic because like some people may have social anxiety in the past, but not as severe, like affecting their life. But now they're more resistant to go out. This is the like the clients that have more symptoms around the pandemic, like not being able to go out. So on one hand, it's more like a cognitive like work to help them process the thoughts they have before going out. But on the other hand, it's more like exposure. So because of the quarantine, we're like forced to stay at home, and a lot of times, just like we're not able to expose to nature, exposed to the outside. So it's like I think it's gradually expose them to like the same amount of exposure to the public and to the nature. Like it's of course this is different kind of levels being there. Like some of my clients were able to stay in the nature, but have difficulty of like going to the crowded or like public places. So it's different, but like setting those like levels, like the hierarchies for them to help them like gradually exposed to these places is what I usually do. But like specifically because afraid of pandemic and not able to go out, like I don't have those kind. Yeah, I don't. So far, I don't have clients have those symptoms.
You bring up a really good final point that although you haven't seen your personal clients experience, say, barriers because of the virus to go outside, it's still a good food for thought that people do experience social anxiety, and that social anxiety has actually increased because of the pandemic. Like, in a way, it does help, that for social anxiety, I say help, quote unquote, to help, to be inside and not have to socialize, but still it's kind of like post-pandemic kind of being pushed to do the reverse. Now it's sort of like, well, how do we help our clients to reintegrate into doing things, or how do we slowly expose them in a way that is comfortable for them? Sorry if you guys hear that phone in the background, that's not me. But I want to thank you guys again for this wonderful conversation.